everybody? I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brits Sunday morning pregame show. It's tired over here in the U.S., but Maddie's wide awake over in Thailand.
Oh yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning. Just come back from the strip. Don't drink, so it's a weird experience walking around Thailand, like islands in Thailand at this time of night when you don't drink because everybody else is just absolutely shit faced. It's quite funny to watch.
And they got to have some like special Thai drinks or some shit, right? Like shit that people drink there that they don't get here or by you.
Oh, you have some stuff, man, that just absolutely blows your brains out. Like Samsung is like this rum that just like the percentage on the side of the bottle says 30, but it seems way harder than that. And soju, which is these like little fortified wine things that everybody goes around drinking, which were great when I used to drink a while ago. But like, yeah.
Do you guys do the proof or just the percentage of alcohol?
ABV.
Okay, see, so like very strange. In the US, it's like, so if something's 70 proof, it's 35% alcohol. If I don't know if that's a worldwide thing or not, but that's how
I know that there's the proof and the percentage, but I think on our bottles we just put the percentage of alcohol. Yeah,
no,
it's like
we all do different things. Like you guys use that weird metric system, and
metric system.
Don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is when you go to McDonald's, which is really weird to me. But you guys get all fancy and you're like, I'll just have the Royale.
I don't know. Brits have the best of both worlds, which is actually really horrible and confusing because we measure our height in feet and inches, and we measure how far places are in miles. But then other stuff is centimeters and meters and everything.
So you don't use kilometer, you guys use miles.
We use miles.
Well, now you really fucked me up. You drive on the wrong side of the road. Like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, we're like, I was having this discussion actually the other day where it's like Europeans say that we're not European, and we always refer to Europeans as Europeans as well. They're different. We're different. Strange.
It's an odd place to be living, especially when people think of Europe. England is the first place they think of.
Yeah, people say like name cities in Europe and they list London first, and it's like, not really, but I
suppose from now on, if somebody goes name it place in Europe, I'm gonna be like Newcastle, just to be fucking all different and shit.
Just to really go crazy. Yeah, just really fucking up. Say Sunderland, actually. That's like the more rogue city.
No, because I don't want them to fuck around and think I'm a fan of your team. All right. All right. Let's get to some NFL here. So Thursday night kind of just went as I planned. Might as well just start there. Thursday night went as I planned.
Yeah, the Saints can't score in the red zone. What is that? Like, it's just you watch it and you just go, why can't you score in the red zone? Who do you put that down to? Is that the offensive coordinator? Allen. Is it Derek Carr? Dennis Allen. Right, okay. Straight up.
I just say, okay, so you have this team that 2 years ago could just do whatever. Sean Payton fucking leaves. Granted, it's a lot of different players, but there's a lot of the same players. And Derek Carr isn't the greatest quarterback, but he definitely ain't the worst. And you just stall every time you get in the red zone.
Yeah, Derek Carr was one of the top scoring quarterbacks in the league when he was in the Raiders. 2 seasons ago was one of the top scoring quarterbacks in the league. So it's a bit difficult to blame it on Derek Carr. And also when you have Alvin Kamara as a weapon as well, and Taysom Hill, Taysom Hill found the red zone first. That's how they got into the red zone the first time Taysom Hill was on the field.
Random trivia question. Do you know who the top 2 rated quarterbacks in the NFL are right now? I just seen it yesterday. So
I do.
Nostradamus.
Yeah, no, I was watching. I looked up the stats last week. QBR, Jared Goff, and okay. So
Tua
it's Jared Goff.
Tagovailoa is the best quarterback
Tua,
in the NFL right now, and Kirk Cousins is number 2. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, because I'd have never even guessed that, right? Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I am excited to watch Tua play.
Yeah, in terms of ESPN, I'm like, ESPN. In terms of QBR, I'm a bit like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's whether you take QBR as meaning the best quarterback in the league or not. It's how much you like QBR. I mean, Tua also has thrown for the most yards in the NFL this season.
My only problem,
I wonder how many of those are before and after the catch.
I think I said this before, but my only problem with QBR is because I think it is the right idea on how to rate a quarterback, but being that it's privately owned stat by ESPN always makes me a little worried, because when you have a private company controlling a stat like that, they can make it, one way or another to fit their arguments for the day.
Yeah, I think there's so there definitely is that. I like I like PFF. I like PFF because it's what they use in the NFL circles. I like their stats of turnover worthy plays for QBs.
I think QBR is the perfect way to judge a quarterback because it takes into account for situational football. But I just don't like that it's proprietary to ESPN. And then next thing you know, how do you know if you can trust ESPN to do the right thing?
Yeah, if their guys start banging Tua, is Tua going to start falling down the QBR?
Or if they need to fit Stephen A's fucking argument one time, are they going to, what I mean? That kind of thing. Because, and I don't mean to shit on Stephen A, but right now Stephen A is ESPN. So,
yeah. Derek Carr is 19th in QBR with a QBR of 48.2. But then Trevor Lawrence is also
being average.
Lawrence,
I just said 50 is average. I was letting the viewers know.
Yeah, sorry. 50. Yeah, sorry. 50 is average. And Derek Carr is 19th with 48. And Trevor Lawrence is only 12th with 59, which on performances seems a little generous just on the face of things without sitting down and breaking down all the film. To me.
Yeah, it takes in situational football too. So, and then quarterback rating is just how they throw. It doesn't take into account should they have got rid of the ball, a sack, where they are, that kind of thing. So, stats. I remember growing up and they used to be like men lie, women lie, numbers never lie. And now I'm like, well, that's 2023. And if you watch anything political in the U.S., numbers lie.
It depends how you interpret the numbers.
Right.
You can make numbers say what you want them to say the whole time. Trevor Lawrence, for me, has maybe been a bit underwhelming in the league so far this year. Considering where we were expecting the Jaguars to be. I'm not sure he's holding the Jaguars back. I don't think that's a fair criticism. Just he's not pulling them forward either.
And I'm not giving him a pass, but some of that has to do with breakdowns on their offensive line.
Yeah, their offensive line isn't the strongest. Their defense does look really solid, though. Josh Allen, Jaguars defense, Josh Allen, is a game wrecker and has been one of the most underrated game wreckers in the league so far.
So I was all excited because I look at the fantasy after Thursday night's game and I'm like, oh, shit. Kirk got me 19 points. That's really cool. And then I'm playing Hitman and I go, oh, fuck, Kamara got him 30. So, yeah. I can't win for losing on that one.
Yeah, I made a switch to the Jaguars defense. And they were doing absolutely unbelievably until Michael Thomas scored a touchdown. But luckily, I also have Michael Thomas in my team. So I was like, as long as Michael Thomas is the person who scores, then I'm okay losing points on the defense. So it was good, at least.
Well, let's start with this Atlanta at the Buccaneers game. The Bucs are at home and they're favored by 3. They do not expect very much scoring in this game because the over-under is 37.5.
I could see that as well. Is this to decide the NFC South, or are the Saints still? The Saints are still around the NFC South as well. The NFC South is an interesting division. Both of the Southern divisions are interesting divisions. 3 points. It's weird when you look at the Bucs offense on paper and think only 37 points are going to be scored. The Falcons don't really move the ball. Give me the Bucs on that one.
I'm with you. Give me the Bucs -3. I like what Tampa's doing this year. Are they one of the best teams in football? Probably not. But are they better than everybody thought they were going to be without Tom Brady and the way last year looked, even with Brady? Absolutely. I think that this team has a lot of talent, and Baker Mayfield probably is the right guy for the job right now.
If you surround Baker Mayfield with enough talent, he will do well. Like he's shown when he's had talent, he's shown that he's been a very serviceable, probably above average quarterback. I know that's not like crazy praise, but some people make you think that Baker Mayfield is terrible, and will lose games. And I don't see that from Baker.
He is 100% an NFL starting quarterback, if you ask me.
Yeah, 100%. I don't see how you can look at it any other way with Baker Mayfield. And when you have Evans and you have Godwin on the outside as well, I think they're a team that are clinically underrated so far this season. For me, they have had a few setbacks in the past couple of weeks. Getting beat by the Lions 20 points to 6 isn't a great, obviously only scoring 6 points. So that's why I imagine the over-under is 37. But I'm going to take the over on 37. I think the Bucs will score.
All right. I could see that. I don't have a problem with that either with the over. I'm trying to find this article that I was reading, but I can't. Because moving into the next game of the Lions at the Ravens are favored by 3 at home. But what I was trying to look up is I saw an article saying that there has been 0 talks with Jared Goff for a new contract.
Yeah, I guess the Lions are just going to be the Lions in that sort of situation, eh? But Jared Goff has been the best quarterback in the NFC so far this year. What
are they going to do? Franchise him though?
Maybe. Maybe. Can he be franchise tagged?
I don't think. Yeah, he's never been franchised. So
okay,
because he went from his rookie deal and then they gave him that big deal in LA and then traded him.
Yeah. So, well, I guess they're going to franchise tag him then just to make sure it's real. But I don't see how Jared Goff isn't real to those guys. He's been the best quarterback in the NFC so far this season. Matthew Stafford, maybe.
That would line up to sign this fucking guy in the offseason.
He's looked way better than Dak. He would make that Cowboys offense look a lot better so far this year. I guess Kirk maybe in terms of the NFC as well.
Sure, but Goff's only 29. I just had to look. He's only 29.
He feels like he's been in the league forever. But he's got his team to a Super Bowl. They lost that Super Bowl, but he got his team there. You can say what you want in terms of, was it Sean McVay? Was it this? Was it that? Right, but with good coaching and a good team around him, he's still good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. There's not many quarterbacks who can say that.
How the hell are the Ravens favored in this game is where I get confused with Vegas's lines.
The the logos on the side of the helmets. That's why. It has to be.
Yeah, I don't feel like Vegas falls into that trap. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's weird for me.
Yeah, I
Because
feel
well, with
like
that said, give me the Lions and the 3 points because I'll take the Lions +3 in that game.
yeah, give me the Lions +3 points. The Lions offense has looked very good. Amon-Ra St. Brown playing for them is a big deal as well. But more importantly, the Ravens just haven't got it going so far this season at all. I think the loss of their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, is a big deal in that they're kind of spluttering to games, and they're still winning games because they're the Ravens and they have a good culture that's built around defense and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, give me the Lions +3 on that one. I think they have a much more exciting offense, and the Lions defense is playing well. Aiden Hutchinson was obviously should have been the number 1 pick in that draft, and the Jags basically overthought it.
Well, and then I hope the Ravens win that game. Don't get me wrong, but I'll take the Lions +3, and then the over/under is 43.5.
I don't think I'd bet that over/under.
Me neither.
Yeah, maybe the under on that one. Just 2 good defenses going at it, I guess. The under.
Well, moving on to the next game, it's 2 of your favorite teams. It's the Washington Commanders at the New York Giants, and the Commanders are 3-point favorites on the road.
I can see that as well. Like, I can definitely see that. Look, the Giants have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and they managed to run the Bills close, which was very impressive. The Commanders have one of the better defensive lines on paper in the league. I feel like the Commanders have been saying for a long time we have one of the best defensive lines on paper in the league, and they don't always come to play. But every now and again, they do look like one of the best defensive lines in the league. So I think they're kind of going to have their way with that Giants offensive line this week. Low scoring game. Commanders win by 3.
I agree. Give me the Commanders -3. But I think the defensive line doesn't look as good because every time they do something well, the offense leaves them hanging.
Yeah, I obviously think, yes, there is that side of the ball for the Commanders as well. But look, Sam Howell has looked like a service. Sam Howell has looked like the guy where if he's your starting quarterback, you are looking for other stuff. But he is a starting quarterback for the bottom third of the league. That's where Sam Howell is. He's Taylor Heineke. They moved from Taylor Heineke to Taylor Heineke 2.0.
Taylor Heineke light.
Taylor Heineke light.
The over/under on that is 37.
Yeah, under, weirdly. Daniel Jones is sitting out. Does that make them better or worse?
Better.
With Tyrod Taylor. Is Tyrod Taylor better than Daniel Jones, or is he just better in that system?
No, he's better than Daniel Jones.
Yep. Okay. I think Daniel Jones has like a lot of raw talent and all of that kind of stuff. And there are times where you look at him and you go, yeah, like that's the guy. But Tyrod Taylor just looked better moving around in the pocket and making the plays last week.
The only reason that Daniel Jones, so Tyrod Taylor has started for teams. He's been the guy on teams. The only reason Daniel Jones is still the guy is because they drafted and paid him.
Yeah. That contract is looking worse and worse, by the way. I remember us talking about it probably close to this time last year or in a couple of months. Yeah. And it looked terrible. It looked like just a terrible deal in general, and they look like they're getting fleeced by it.
They put themselves in a bad situation by not picking up that 5th-year option.
Yeah, they when you have, surely that's one of the pluses of drafting Daniel Jones in the first round, because I don't think he was a first round quarterback. Like second round, okay, fine, but I think first round was I remember when they took him and just thinking like, what a ridiculous thing to do. But yeah, they've really fucked that up. Very Giants of them.
Yeah, and teams do that. They reach for quarterbacks at times. Like I'll still remember back. I still ponder why the Vikings drafted Christian every day. Christian Ponder. Like why? Like it was a bad choice because you freaked out and grabbed a quarterback high in the first round that should at very best been a second round pick because you got scared that all these quarterbacks went before you.
Yeah, and like I don't mind it, but you need to leverage it properly. And they had the opportunity with Daniel Jones to leverage it and get the 5th-year option on him so they could do more assessment on him before paying him. And that would have been the way to leverage it, and it would have been a good decision because Daniel Jones is like cusp quarterback in the NFL. Like Daniel Jones can play quarterback in this league. Probably needs a better situation, but he can play quarterback in this league. But you need to know what level he is before you pay him. And I don't think they knew. They got kind of confused last year.
And financially, they would have been better off just 5th-year option and then franchise tagging him if they wanted to do it that way, and it would have saved them money and still let them get out after next year.
Yeah, I think they saw the whole Eli Manning thing. I think they got caught up in the emotion of Daniel Jones having a decent year last year.
Yeah, and don't get me caught up on how Eli is not a Hall of Famer, but he will get in the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls and his last name's Manning.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. 2 Super Bowl wins. That's good enough for me.
And that's all and I don't want to say that's all because that's huge, but his whole career, he misses the playoffs. He's not very good, but 2 years in the playoffs, he goes on an amazing run and leaves with rings.
So deservedly in the Hall of Fame. Would he possibly be one of the worst quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame? Yes.
Yeah.
But he's in the Hall of Fame because he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, he's going to walk in on the first ballot because he won 2 Super Bowls and his last name's Manning.
Yeah. And he played for a long time in a big market franchise. Like, there's a lot there. But
it's a strange thing. All right. Well, we'll talk about a different New York team, the Bills traveling to New England, but the Bills are favored by 7.5 on the road.
I wonder when the last time the Bills were favored by that much over New England was. It has to be pre Brady and Belichick.
Yep. Probably not since Jim Kelly played there.
Yeah, got to be the 90s, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
It is a crazy thought.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, I don't actually hate that line either. Like that's where the Patriots are right now. The Patriots have no offensive capabilities, and if you have offensive capabilities against this Bills team, you can go out there and win games because if you're able to score, that forces Josh Allen to get out of his comfort zone, and he throws interceptions when he's trying to do too much. But unfortunately, they can't move the ball. So give me the Bills plus 7.
It's 7.5, but yes, I'll take the Bills plus
7.5
also.
Yeah.
Over under is 41.
A lot. On a 7.5 game, the over under's 41. Okay. Over.
I would have to say over too.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that one either.
I hate over unders. That's a very hard thing to gamble on.
Yeah.
So the New England Patriots did put Malik Cunningham on their active roster. Makes me start to think that Mac Jones has a very short leash.
Just play him at this point. If I'm Mac, I'm just thinking like, do you know what, Bill? Like, you don't want me here. Sorry, I'm having to sit on the floor. I'm having to rearrange my floor seat. I'd say if I was Mac, I'd be like, oh, you don't want me here, man. Like, play your new guy. Play your new guy. Trade me at the deadline. Play on you, guy, and let's just move on with our lives. You know, sometimes relationships don't work. Sometimes relationships don't work, and it's sometimes best for everybody to just end it at that point. And that's where I feel it is at. While Bill Belichick is a New England Patriot, Mac Jones cannot continue, will not be able to play as a Patriot.
All right, I agree. So with the Raiders going to Chicago, the Raiders are favored by 1.5 on the road at Chicago.
These are these two of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. See, I've seen some rumors about Devontae Adams wanting to become a Cowboy recently.
Devontae Adams wants out, is what it looks like. I don't think he actually came out and said it, but just for everybody, Brian Hoyer is quarterbacking the Raiders today.
And they're still surprise, Jimmy G is not available.
Injured still.
Yeah, but not available. Yeah.
Story of Jimmy G's life, injured.
Yeah, exactly. Never available to play. Yeah, in this game you have two of the most disappointing teams in the league this year. The Bears. I still don't know what to think about the Bears sometimes. Like,
I can tell you.
Like, why haven't they blown it up yet? But why haven't they blown it up yet? I'm confused.
Because then you have to admit as the GM that you fucked up the first 2 years.
Yeah, but you can just blame it on the coach if you get rid of the coach, you know. Just get rid of the coach, blame it on the coach. That gives you one more try with the next coaches. Yeah, also Josh McDaniel is maybe just an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and that's it. That's what we're looking like here. The Bears with Brian Hoyer the Raiders with Brian Hoyer, will be able to build some form of functional offense there.
They're going to be
better.
Give
me the Bears. You think they're going to be better with Brian Hoyer over Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you think Brian Hoyer's better than Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay. I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate the idea.
Well, you're taking the Bears?
Give me the Bears.
All right, I'm taking the Raiders minus the 1.5. The over-under is 38.5 on this game.
Oof. Jesus. Over.
I wouldn't bet it, but give me the under.
I don't think either of their defenses are good enough. I suppose the Raiders have Crosby.
Well, let's not forget that I don't believe Justin Fields is playing, so I believe they're back to...
oh, yeah.
Before we move on, if you want to switch that pick.
Yeah, I forgot Justin Fields isn't playing either. Yeah, okay, give me the Raiders. Do you know, what's his name? What's the backup quarterback's name for the Bears?
They're looking at Justin Fields working towards return as soon as week 8.
As soon as week 8, right? Okay. What's the name of the backup for the Bears? The rookie.
Bagnett is his last name. Taylor.
Yeah,
I think Taylor Bagnett.
Taylor Bagnett. He holds some sort of record for touchdown passes in college football at 159. But he played for a Division II school. Isn't that crazy? Played Division II ball and is now quarterback in the NFL.
He looked better than Justin Fields coming into that game against the Vikings.
He looks like he's able to run an offense pretty efficiently. But I think it's an amazing story to play Division II quarterback and then be quarterbacking in the NFL in your rookie year.
Yeah, but we've seen it before. Joe Flacco, Carson Wentz, Trey Lance, kind of. Well, because he hasn't really played, so I threw him in there, but he hasn't really
He
played.
counts.
But it's just, I think that And to think that they cut their backup just 2 weeks before he went in yesterday because they're like, this kid's good enough to be our number 2.
Yeah, maybe they'll end up. Maybe they like this guy, and maybe Justin Fields might not see the field again for the Bears.
Yeah, because who'd they cut? Nathan Peterman. They cut Nathan Peterman 2 weeks before that game, and then.
Yeah, I mean, when you've watched snippets of Nathan Peterman, like, you don't want him to be your primary backup anyway, so you want to give the other guy a chance, right?
When anybody ever says Nathan Peterman, I remember when the Bills benched Tyrod for him, and the guy came in and threw 5 interceptions in the first half.
Yeah, it looks like every time they brought him on, it looked like they were going to be tanking. Like, it looked like that. It's like, okay, we've decided we want to lose this game to get better draft picks. Let's send in Peterman.
That's rough to think. So you're going with the Raiders at the 1.5?
Yeah, give me the Raiders. I think Brian Hoyer is able to execute an offense well enough.
All right, now we have the best defense in the NFL right now, the Browns, at the New Indianapolis Colts. The Browns are favored by 3.5. And think about this. The Browns have only given up 1,080 yards on the year.
The Browns' defense is incredible. It's all we've been saying. It's all anybody's been saying about the Browns' defense for the past 2-3 years is, can we get Myles Garrett some help on the other side? Can we get somebody that means if they're having to double Myles Garrett, then the other guy is good enough to be one-on-one blocking in the pass game consistently. And they found that this year. So the Browns defense is amazing. And the Colts are a strange team. Strange team again for me. Gardner Minshew makes them a better team at the moment. Probably. Did he look like that last week? No, not really. I think Gardner Minshew is going to get eaten alive by this Browns team, and I think the Colts are going to struggle to move the ball, and the Browns have enough on offense to put the game away early.
I don't disagree with you. I think Zadarius Smith was huge for the Browns. They got a lockdown guy in the secondary in Ward. The team's playing tough. That defensive line is fucking going to wreak havoc on. Gardner Minshew threw for 300 yards, but he also threw 3 picks.
Yeah. Very Gardner Minshew game.
So I will definitely take the Browns minus the 3.5 over the Colts.
Yeah, Browns minus 3.5 as well.
Over under 39.5.
About right.
This
is going to be a low scoring week in the NFL this year.
It has been. Week. The scoring has been down this season compared to the last few I was just seeing the other day.
Yeah.
A lot of injured quarterbacks right now, though, too, which I think has a reason to be why.
A lot of injured quarterbacks, a lot of injured offensive linemen, not a lot of depth of offensive line. I think that's the reason it's low scoring.
So we're both on the fact that we don't think the Colts can win a game, right, against the Browns.
I just don't think they can match up against the defense. Like the Colts have been surprisingly okay, but I just think that Browns defense is too much for them.
Kareem Hunt had a big game last week. I think he's back in football shape, and I think we're going to see more of Kareem Hunt being focal point of that offense too. It did look like, as of yesterday, Deshaun Watson was back. I'm just making sure right now, but as of yesterday, it looked like he was going to play. Deshaun Watson, Kareem Hunt, and Hunter Henry are all active.
He better fucking be back.
Well, he's had a
Deshaun.
back injury,
Medically,
so
well, yeah, he was medically cleared weeks ago, though.
yeah, but he was cleared by NFL doctors, and we know as long as your fucking like arm ain't falling off, they'll clear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 9.5 in this game.
Oof. Oof. God, that's too high.
It is
That's
a rough
not.
one.
That's not the way that Pete. That's not the way that Pete Carroll plays football. That's not the way he plays. We spoke about this actually last week. That's not the way that he plays football at all. Like the Seahawks don't run away with games. They play down to their opposition so they can beat them by 1 point every time. Yeah, give me the Seahawks to win, but they're not going to win by 9. So the Cardinals.
I'm with you. Give me the Cardinals plus 9.5, even though I don't think the Cardinals will win.
They're a gritty team. Like the Cardinals are a super gritty team, able to stay in games, and the Seahawks don't blow teams out. So
yeah,
when you put that together, 9.
It's like somebody forgot to tell Arizona that they suck.
Yeah, it's like the GM forgot to say, by the way, guys, this year we're playing for Caleb Williams, just so you know.
Caleb Williams, who's only thrown 2 touchdowns since that 6-touchdown game against Colorado. Caleb Williams, who hasn't looked fucking great, and everybody wants to tank for him. And Caleb Williams, who is getting killed in the media because he supposedly said he wants part ownership in a team, but even though that's against NFL rules, which is the Brady rule that they made last year because of the Raiders.
That is hilarious, though. Like, thinking that a rookie would come out and say that is it's quite funny.
The Vikings website or groups have went from tank for Caleb to fuck this guy. Like,
oh my God,
really
it's like football fans. It's like football fans are fickle as fuck, you know?
Oh, you want ownership as a rookie? Fuck this guy. That's really what it went to. Like, wow, that flipped really quick.
I always love the idea that having any stake in a club classes as ownership as well. Like, it could just be like 0.5%, you know?
And it's illegal, though, because Brady was going to take part ownership in the Raiders and then work for the team. Not as the quarterback, but work for the team. All of a sudden, the NFL quick passes a rule, which I think it was to kind of like, fuck you, Mark Davis, plus they don't want players getting ownership. But they made that against the rules. So now the rule states no matter what percentage it is, if you have a stake in the team, you can no longer work for an NFL team.
Yeah.
Which I think that rule states that Jerry Jones should no longer be able to be the GM. Not this is nothing against Jerry, but the NFL makes weird rules that fit their narrative and aren't always followed through.
Yeah, we all know that Jerry Jones probably had some stake in making that rule as well. Just because.
But doesn't that sound like by
Jones.
That rule, Jerry shouldn't be able to be the GM? Okay, like it's just. And I know Cowboy fans are like, please stop letting Jerry be the GM. So
I'm happy with that. Yeah. There's no way that Stephen Jones, I imagine, has stake in the Cowboys as well. Maybe just for his dad's foundation or whatever. But yeah, I think so too.
So that Seahawks Cardinals game, the over under is 40.5, 44.5.
Okay, I could see that. Like I wouldn't bet it. Like over. See both teams getting to 20.
I wouldn't bet it, but I would take the under if they forced me.
Has Josh Dobbs made a case that he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL next year?
I think he's made a case that he's a lifetime backup.
Lifetime backups usually are starting in NFL games for the bottom third teams in the league, though.
See, he doesn't throw well enough to me to like make him a starting NFL. But he's got moxie and he's got that it where he'll run around and make something happen. So as a starter, I don't think anybody will go with him as a starter, but I think he's a guy where you're like, if we need him for a game or two, we might be able to pull one out.
Yeah, or if he becomes your bridge quarterback, so you draft a rookie and he's there waiting, like he plays the first 5-6 games of the season, or he plays the difficult stretch of games, and then the rookie comes in and takes over.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever bring him in to start, me personally, but I could see teams using him as the backup role, and you never know. Teams get desperate. We watch
He's
teams
also
do dumb stuff.
Yeah, he's also an excellent professional. Like, isn't he? He has like a degree in astrophysics or something like that.
Yeah, he's a really smart kid, that's for sure. I forget what his degree is in, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a good guy to have your rookie quarterback around, or like good guy to have in the backup room, like that kind of guy. Yeah, I like Dobbs.
Well, the Steelers are heading to Los Angeles to play the Rams, and the Rams are favored by 3.5.
And I like that. I like that a lot. I think the Rams team, it's just great. And I forgot how good Sean McVay was as a coach. But when you have Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Packer Nakua, who's the Samoan Cooper Kupp, with Tutu Atwell as the deep threat, that is a nasty team. Now, they are beaten up pretty heavily at running back at the moment. I think they're down to their third string running back, right?
Wonder if they're regretting trading Cam Akers now.
Yeah, that's an unlucky time to trade, right? Like, that's an unlucky trade that's happened there. But yeah, they were looking good at fucking Kyren Williams being out is really gonna kill my fantasy spreads. But anyway, doesn't matter.
My whole team is either injured or on a bye, so let's not go there.
Yeah, mine too. I've had to pick up Craig Reynolds as my running back too at the moment, but yeah, let's see. But yeah, I really like the Rams team. I really like the way they're built, and I don't think the Steelers have any ability to move the ball, and I still don't understand how Matt Canada has a job.
Yeah, it's because Mike Tomlin is way too loyal. I would have fucking got rid of Matt Canada already too. I don't understand that whole Matt Canada love thing.
The team just lines up and does a route. Also, it's like, honestly, I feel sorry for Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones. Like, you look at, they must sit on the bench and look at other teams and just go, why can't I have motions? Why can't I have stunt plays? Like, why can't I have a few gadget plays every now and again? You know?
Well, I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5.
All right. Why?
Gut feeling that they're going to beat the Rams today. That's all it is.
Okay. Gut feeling. Always go with your gut, man. Always go with your gut.
Yeah, the over-under is 44 on this game. I could see it going either way.
Nah, it's the under for me on that. The Steelers can't move the ball. So the Steelers can't move the ball. The Rams have got a decent defense. And the Steelers still have a decent enough defense. So,
all right,
yeah,
well,
give me the under.
Pickens is going to go for 130 and 2 touchdowns.
I forget that Pickens exists. He's amazing, by the way. Whenever you watch Pickens, he's fantastic. If he was in a see, Matt Canada can't even scheme Pickens open enough. Like, he just needs to get that guy the ball. That's all. Yeah. That's all his offense needs to be. Get George Pickens the ball.
Yeah, but I'll still take the Steelers. You taking the Rams at the minus 3.5?
Yeah, Rams minus 3.5.
All right, this line has me laughing. So Green Bay Packers are traveling to the Broncos, and the Packers on the road favored by 1. The Packers could be favored by 7, and I would still take the Packers. So give me the Packers minus 1.
You know, when I said earlier that the Raiders and the Bears are possibly two of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this year. The Packers and the Broncos are also up there for that title. Really, you would take the Packers by 7. Is that just how bad the Broncos are?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The
Aaron
Broncos
Jones is
defense
back too, so yeah.
Yeah. The Broncos defense just isn't good enough to stick with people, and Jordan Love has looked decent enough to take apart a shoddy defense, you know. So, yeah, give me the Packers on that one as well, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, but Jordan Love is probably the better quarterback over Russell Wilson right now. I think the Packers have more talent on the offense too. I like their young receivers. I like their running backs. They've had some offensive line injuries, but they've played without Bakhtiari for the last 3 years, so nobody can use that as an excuse.
Yeah. And as with wide receivers, it's about consistency. Young wide receivers, it's about consistency. The more games they play, the better they're looking. And again, Jordan Love is good enough to run offenses in the NFL. And the Broncos defense, it's the Broncos defense for me. That's Vance Joseph. How's he still on the job? But yeah.
All right. Well, we have the Chargers traveling to Kansas City. The Chiefs are only 5.5-point favorites in this game.
Yeah, again, the Chargers are a team that anything can kind of happen with them. Just the way that they play, they have no consistency. Herbert is perhaps not as good as we think he is, which we spoke about on the last show. And Kansas City's defense is really good this year. They still have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, but I think 5.5 might be a bit of a stretch actually. So give me the Chargers. I want the Chiefs to win. Chargers are going to be within 5.5.
Okay, give me Patrick Mahomes minus 5.5. I'm good with that. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift for all you Swifties. Let's give me the 5.5.
I can't believe we've just spoken about Taylor Swift on this show, but that's okay. Yeah, the Charger Austin Eckler's back.
48 for an over-under.
Back from industry again. Sorry? 48.
I said 48 is the over-under.
Wow. Yeah, under.
Yeah, I would probably take the under also.
Where's that number coming from? The Chiefs haven't scored points this year. Neither of the Chargers. Neither of them have played outstanding offense so far this year.
No, but let's talk about the game that I think both of us are probably excited to watch. Miami traveling to Philly. Philly is favored by 3 in this game. Give me Miami plus 3.
Miami are the better team in this game, like player for player. Like the Eagles play very good complementary ball as well. Like that's great. But the Miami Dolphins are better player for player. They're better coached as well because Mike Daniels is awesome as a head coach. Tua is playing better than Jalen Hurts right now. Jalen Hurts is 7 touchdowns for 7 interceptions on the year so far. Is Lane Johnson out? Do you know?
He's out.
He's out. So Lane Johnson is out as well. And the offensive line didn't look the same after Lane Johnson went off. They just lost against the Jets. Give me the Dolphins in this one. Are you tempted by the money line on that one, Jay?
He was out, but I just wanted to play.
Sorry, say that again.
Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson are both going to play.
All right, okay. Lane Johnson, good for
What's up? The Trainwreck TV. How's it going, everybody? Thanks
Yeah.
for tapping in.
Uh,
If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe.
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Lane Johnson, like, fair play to him for coming back, but I doubt he's incredibly healthy. But the Dolphins defense is decent enough as well. Give me the Dolphins in that one. Are you tempted by the money line, Jay, in that game?
No, I had already decided I wasn't sure about this game, and whoever was the dog and got the points, I was taking.
I'm not tempted by the money line.
I was
on this
taking
one
the points.
I'm not tempted by the money line on this one either because it could go down to the wire. But the Dolphins are a better team than the Eagles.
Do you know who Darius Rudker is?
No.
Do you remember the group Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yes, from Friends. I remember who.
Okay, so Hootie is in the Blowfish. Darius Rudker is Hootie, the black guy who's lead singer.
Right. Okay.
And I always joke because he has that song where the Dolphins made him cry. So,
right, okay.
Because he's a big Dolphins fan, and he even put it in his song, "The Dolphins made me cry." I hope they don't make me cry today.
Yeah. Come on, the Dolphins, do me a solid.
All right, moving on to Monday Night Football. The San Francisco 49ers travel to the Minnesota Vikings. Debo's out. Trent Williams is out. McCaffrey's questionable. The Vikings are 7-point dogs at home.
Oh my God, the 49ers are injured. Surprise, surprise. It's like we were talking about it at the start of the year. For some reason, like you can't trust the 49ers to stay healthy. 7 points is a big spread for an injured team who just lost.
Let me say this quick. Give me the Vikings +7 because when we lose, we only lose one-score games anyway. But I do think the Vikings have a real shot at winning this game. Give me the Vikings +7.
Where do you think the Vikings match up really well against the 49ers this week?
I think that they're going to pressure Brock Purdy without Trent Williams because if you look at the stats, the Vikings bring the house on a lot of plays, a lot of pressures, a lot of blitzes.
Yeah, when Brian Flores is your defensive coordinator. Yeah,
Debo's out, so this is just me. You double cover Ayuk, and if Christian McCaffrey is there, then you sell out on the run also with him, and you tell Brock Purdy and Kittle, you have to beat us. That's it. It's you two. You two have to beat us.
Yeah, and if McCaffrey's not there, then that takes away their immediate out ball as well. Without Debo and McCaffrey, yeah, Debo and McCaffrey missing is big in terms of if you can get pressure to Brock Purdy. Now, if Trent Williams was there, you're like, oh, right, it's a lot harder to get pressure to Brock Purdy. But he's not there either. So they're missing 3 integral parts.
No, I'm putting Danielle Hunter over the backup left tackle the whole fucking game.
Yeah. Now, I do think the 49ers have enough, like, in terms of defense on that side of the ball, and the Vikings defense is shaky enough where I think the 49ers are going to win. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be within 7 points. And we have agreed far too much on this show this week.
I like to keep this winning streak going, so I hope we're right.
I hope we're right as well.
So you took the Vikings though plus the 7, correct? Is what I
took the Vikings plus the 7, but I think the 49ers are going to win.
Well, you'll probably win the bet, but you're going to be wrong because the Vikings are going to shock the world. I don't usually say that. You don't hear me. You don't usually hear me talk like that about the Vikings. I really believe this is the game where they can shock the world. And then if you look at their next 5 games after that, they could go on a run here and be in line for a fucking playoff spot after starting horribly.
If we're right this week, the Detroit Lions will be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong on that game, to be honest.
That's the one that you can drop.
I'm okay with being wrong on some of these if it helps the Vikings. Like
yeah.
Like I picked the Packers to win, but it's always a feel-good day when the Packers lose.
especially when you live just around the corner.
Right. Well, Maddie, we made it through all the games today. You looking forward to that Miami Eagles game the most?
Yeah, it's also at 7:20 in the morning here, so I'll be able to watch the whole thing from
Oh,
start
that's
to
right,
finish.
because you get up early in the morning.
I get up for football. If a game's at 7:20, I'm definitely getting up for it as well.
Yeah, I stopped getting up for those London games.
Yeah, well, they give us all the shit football anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Germany have got the Dolphins versus the Chiefs, I think, are just something ridiculous. You know, like an unbelievable game.
Are they going to make that
and
one
Germany
asshole
gets-
early too?
Germany is an hour ahead of us, so even
so it's
earlier,
still going to be
an
that
hour
9:30
earlier.
game for me. Yeah.
Yeah, an hour earlier.
Yeah, me and mornings just aren't friends. I don't know why. We just don't get along.
Yeah, no, the Germany always get the best games. I would wake up for that one.
Well, Maddie, there we had it. We ran it through. Without looking at my numbers, I believe I'm 61, 30, and 2 right now on the season. So just keep betting with us. Follow us for your gambling tips.
Yeah, I listen to our pregame show. We finish usually about half an hour before kickoff, so you have just enough time to get all of your bets in.
Yep, you should be on there as we're giving them. Just
ready to go. Just put them in. Listen to us. Take our advice. If you decide against it, then that's also fine.
And if you're riding with us and you win, don't be afraid to hit them super chats and super stickers that are now available. Support the work. Throw us a little tip.
That's so crazy. We have super things now, which is just crazy. People can. By the way, guys, like we fully appreciate the support that you guys give our channel. It is absolutely wild. Like, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You're all the reason that we've got to this point.
Go over to Instagram. We got 55,000 followers over there. You can find us on Facebook. We have a group and a Facebook page, but all of our content runs on YouTube or Rumble. So make sure you hit those likes, subscribes, and follows.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. We will be back next week with more. We'll break down everything that happened this week. We'll tell you why we were right, not wrong on our picks. And we're just going to keep this train rolling. And thank you, the Trainwreck TV, for tapping in. We appreciate you. All right, guys. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.